Four of history's sharpest minds, four debates that never happened until now, step into the arena. Renaissance Florence, two titans who couldn't stand each other, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, on genius itself.
You paint, Leonardo, you tinker, and you never finish. A dozen half-done wonders. I carved David from one flawed block. Finished.
Because you see only stone, Michelangelo. I see birds and water and war machines and the human heart itself. A mind should not be chained to a single chisel.
And yet the world walks miles to kneel beneath my ceiling. Your Last Supper is flaking off a wall as we speak.
Art was never meant to last forever, my friend, only to see further than the age that made it. I was painting the future. You were decorating the present.
Two French masters at the stove, Marie-Antoine Carême, architect of the towering feast, versus Auguste Escoffier, engineer of the modern kitchen.
I built pastry into palaces and gave cuisine its grammar of sauces. I cooked for kings and made the table itself an art.
And I fed the world, mon ami. I stripped away your edible monuments and organized the kitchen into brigades that could serve 1,000 guests without chaos.
You dismantled my grandeur into assembly lines. Where is the wonder when the plate no longer astonishes the eye?
The wonder, Antonin, is that after you, the feast belonged to nobles. After me, it belonged to everyone.
Tonight, clockmaker John Harrison faces radio pioneer Guglielmo Marconi over who truly shrank the world.
I gave sailors their longitude with a clock that kept true time through storms and heat, and no man drowned lost again for want of it.
Admirable, but your genius sat locked in a single ticking box. My waves leapt the Atlantic and let a ship in peril simply call for help.
Your signals vanish in the ether, sir, while my chronometer answers the same in a gale or a calm, needing no station on the far shore.
And when the Titanic sank, it was my wireless, not your ticking, that pulled 700 souls from the sea.
Tonight, the lady with the lamp Florence Nightingale meets the father of antiseptics Joseph Lister over who truly saved the patient.
I cut the death rate at Scutari by opening windows, scrubbing floors, and feeding the men. Cleanliness of the whole environment heals.
Admirable, Miss Nightingale, but germs do not respect fresh air. My carbolic spray killed the invisible killers you only diluted.
You chased microbes, I gathered statistics, and my coxcomb charts persuaded governments where your bottle of acid never could.
Charts count the dead beautifully, madam, but it was my clean scalpel that stopped them from joining the tally.
Two men aimed at the same white silence, Roald Amundsen and Robert Falcon Scott, raced to the bottom of the world.
I planned like a Norseman. Dogs, skis, cached food, and I reached the pole and came home alive.
You reached it first, yes, but I hauled science with me and measured the very rock beneath the ice.
Rock does not warm a frozen man, Robert. Your ponies died, your motor sledges failed, and pride pulled those sledges instead of dogs.
Perhaps, but England remembers how a man dies, not merely how fast he arrives.
Two novelists of drawing rooms, Jane Austen of Regency England versus Edith Wharton of Gilded Age New York.
I dissected marriage as it truly is, a market where a woman's wit is her only leverage, and I made you laugh while you noticed the trap.
You gave your heroines happy endings, Miss Austen. I refused that mercy because in my New York society devoured its own and called it good taste.
A cruelty need not be shown to be understood. I let a single raised eyebrow do the work your whole tragic architecture strains to.
Then I built the cage you only sketched and locked my Lilybart inside it so the reader would feel the bars you politely left ajar.
Vienna's two titans collide. Ludwig van Beethoven, the storm, meets Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the sunlight.
You charmed emperors with perfect elegance, Wolfgang. I seized fate by the throat and made deafness itself sing.
Elegance is not weakness, Ludwig. My operas breathe like living people, while your symphonies too often shout at the poor listener.
I shout because I have something to say. I freed music from courtly manners and handed it to all humanity in that final ode to joy.
And I proved at 5 years old that joy needs no revolution. only that you never write a single wasted note.
A cathedral of contrasts, Barcelona's organic dreamer Antoni Gaudí faces London's precise geometer Christopher Wren.
I do not invent forms, Senor Wren. I copy God's own catalogue, the tree, the bone, the seashell's spiral.
And I rebuilt London from ashes with mathematics and a dome that stands because it obeys me, not the ferns.
Your straight line is human, Sir Christopher. The curve belongs to the divine. My Sagrada Familia grows like a forest of prayer.
A noble forest, but I finished St. Paul's in my lifetime. Yours still waits for a roof, and heaven is patient, but Londoners are not.
Tonight, the father of history, Herodotus, faces the cold surgeon of war, Thucydides.
I wandered the world, gathering wonders, oracles, and the customs of men, so that great deeds not be forgotten.
And amid your wonders you smuggled in gods and gossip. I recorded the Peloponnesian War as it was, a possession for all time.
A tale without color is a corpse, Thucydides, and men remember the marvel long after they forget your troop counts.
They also forget your talking dolphins, while my plague and my speeches still teach why nations destroy themselves.
Two painters who turn their own suffering into color, Frida Kahlo and Vincent van Gogh.
I painted my broken spine, my miscarriages, my own face staring back, because I was the subject I knew best.
And I painted the wheat fields and the stars, Frida. I fled myself into the world, hoping the cypresses would forgive me.
But you never sold your escape, Vincent. I made my pain a mirror people could not look away from.
Then we agree. You framed the wound, I framed the sky above it, and both were painted to keep from drowning.
Two women demanded the vote across an ocean apart. Emmeline Pankhurst and Susan B. Anthony debate how freedom is won.
I broke windows and starved in cells because polite requests were filed and forgotten. Deeds, not words, moved Parliament.
I cast my ballot, stood trial, and refused to pay the fine. Law itself became my platform, and I never threw a stone.
50 years you lectured and petitioned, yet died with no vote. My militancy shook it loose in a single generation.
And your smashed glass gave your enemies their headlines. I built the argument they could never break, and it outlived us both.
A miniaturist of infinite mazes meets the master of the sprawling epic, Jorge Luis Borges versus Leo Tolstoy.
Why drown a reader in 1,000 pages of soldiers and suppers when a single paragraph can contain the whole universe?
Because life is not a riddle to be solved in a footnote, Senor Borges. It is Natasha at the ball, a peasant in the field, the slow weight of years.
And yet your Russia is just one library. I offer readers every book that was, is, and might be all at once.
You give them mirrors and tigers and forking paths, but I give them themselves, and no man ever wept at a labyrinth.
Two queens who ruled without a king above them, Cleopatra of Egypt and Elizabeth I of England.
I bound Caesar and Antony to Egypt itself. A throne is strongest when the mightiest men serve your bed and your treasury alike.
I bound England to no man and outlived every suitor and armada that came for her. I was married to my kingdom, and it never betrayed me.
Yet your line ended with you, Virgin Queen. I gave Egypt heirs of Caesar's blood and made my dynasty rival Rome.
Your heirs were paraded through Rome in chains to Cleopatra. My England sailed on for centuries, precisely because I refused to gamble a crown on love.
Two masters of the impossible image, M.C. Escher, the Dutch draftsman of Endless Stairs, faces Victor Vasarely, the Hungarian father of op art.
I build worlds the eye can wander, yet the mind cannot inhabit. Water climbs, hands draw themselves, and paradox becomes a place.
Charming riddles, Maurits, but I made pure form vibrate and swell on a flat page. No story needed, only the shock of pattern come alive.
Your squares pulse, I grant it, but they say nothing. My mathematics turns a woodcut into infinity you can actually climb.
Precisely why yours stays a puzzle for the clever. Mine breathes for everyone, no solution required, only sight set trembling.
Two pioneers of the unconscious, once mentor and heir, now facing off, Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung.
Beneath every dream and slip of the tongue lies desire, Carl. Repressed, primal, and usually about what you'd rather not admit.
You reduce the whole soul to appetite, Sigmund, but the psyche also reaches upward, toward myth, meaning, and a wisdom older than any childhood.
Your collective unconscious is a lovely cathedral built on sand. I offer a method, you offer mysticism dressed as science.
Better a cathedral than a couch where every longing is caged as sin. The mind you dissect, I dare to let grow.
Two titans of Paris couture face off. Coco Chanel, priestess of the little black dress, against Elsa Schiaparelli, sorceress of shocking pink.
Elegance is refusal, my dear. I freed women from the corset and dressed them in jersey a duchess could breathe in.
You freed them into beige monotony. I gave them lobster gowns and shoe hats so they might arrive as a work of art, not a uniform.
A woman should be remembered when she enters a room, not the dress. Your surrealist costumes wear the woman.
Better a woman remembered as a dream than forgotten in your tasteful little black shroud.
Tonight, Johannes Gutenberg, who pressed type into Europe, faces Kai Lun, the Han official who refined paper itself.
My movable type multiplied a single book into thousands. I gave the word wings.
Wings need a body, friend. Before your press, I gave the world a surface cheap enough to write upon at all.
Yet a scribe still crawled letter by letter. I made the printed page a flood no monastery could dam.
14 centuries earlier, I made the flood possible. You merely opened the gate I had already built.
Two economists who defined how we argue about money, Karl Marx and Adam Smith.
Your invisible hand, Mr. Smith, is quite skilled at picking the worker's pocket.
And your revolution, Herr Marx, seems eager to burn the loom that clothes him.
I would free him from the loom's owner. You merely trust the butcher's self-interest to feed us dinner.
It has fed more dinners than any manifesto, sir, for it is not benevolence but exchange that puts bread on the table.
Tonight, Ada Lovelace, poet of numbers, faces Charles Babbage, father of the analytical engine, over what a machine can truly become.
Your engine could weave algebraic patterns as the loom weaves flowers, Charles, yet it can only do what we know how to order it to perform.
Precisely why I built it, Ada, to banish human error from calculation, not to indulge fancies about music and imagination.
But I published the notes, sir. I saw the engine composing symphonies while you were still cursing the Treasury for funds.
And I designed the very cogs you dreamed upon. Your poetry rides on my iron, madam, or it rides on nothing at all.
Two titans of the stage, Konstantin Stanislavski, who taught actors to live their roles, versus Bertolt Brecht, who told them never to forget their acting.
The actor must believe so deeply that the audience forgets it is theater at all. Truth on stage is felt, not signaled.
But if they forget it is theater, they forget to think. I break the spell on purpose so the crowd judges the world instead of weeping over it.
Emotion is not the enemy of thought, Bertolt. Move a man's heart honestly, and his mind will follow it home.
And I would rather he leave the theater restless enough to change that home, not comforted enough to sleep in it.